Does anyone know what taxes are going to be like in 2021 and beyond? No, we don't really know what taxes are going to be like in 2021 or 2022 or in the years after that. We are in the dark, and that's why I have put off doing this video for a few months. President Biden put out some kind of broad tax plans during the campaign last year. He hasn't really changed those plans much, but they're pretty high-level plans. And I thought about doing this video months ago, but of course we had the election and we had the kind of a disputed election for a little while, and then we had a runoff in Georgia, which determined the balance of the Senate. And with all of that and with the uncertainty about Biden's tax plan, I decided to hold off until today. And I feel like I can do this video, but I'll tell you that in short, we don't really know. It's a wild, kind of a brand new world out there. As you know as well as I, politics are strange these days, and we're not really sure. But I'm going to give you a quick rundown, a quick bullet point list of Biden's expressed wish list. This is the things he's actually said he wants. And I think there's reason to believe that this is not all, but this is his wish list. Now, just a little note before I get into those items of the tax plan. The Democrats, seemingly almost 100% of them have bought into MMT, modern monetary theory, and which means that Biden's tax wish is really to go after the wealthy and to have like a more punitive tax code for being wealthy. And a few years ago, I would have said if a Democrat proposed such a thing, I would say, well, that's probably not coming without also coming after the middle class and maybe even the poor, meaning that as tax rates rise, all tax rates rise to some degree. But because of MMT, I'm not really sure that that's true anymore. Democrats do not believe that there's a cap on government spending, and or what it can be. And so really they've by changing their monetary theory, they've written themselves a blank check, and they don't really care anymore about what's coming in and what's going out. They believe government can spend pretty much anything they want, which brings up the question, then why raise taxes? Well, because they don't really care what they bring in. The Democrats care, at least it seems to me, that the Democratic Party today cares more about using the tax code to try to achieve some sort of equity or some sort of fairness rather than like a practical tool. And I think that's what you see in these tax plans. So let's go through them real fast. President Biden, if he can get everything he wants a 39.6% tax bracket on the wealthy. That probably, in practical terms, probably means over 500 or 520K in earnings. He wants to tax wage earners who make more than $400,000 in wages. He wants to subject those wages to a 12.4% Social Security tax. That's kind of unprecedented. We've never seen that before. Because of the way Social Security was created, we've taxed wages up to a Social Security limit. And the reason is because that's the limit on which we calculate the benefit. So right now the limit's $137,700. So if you make $137,700, you pay Social Security tax on all those wages. And then of course your benefit when you retire is based on the amount of tax that you paid. So if you pay more tax, you have more Social Security. If you pay less, you have a smaller benefit. In this case, he wants to subject these wages over $400,000 to Social Security tax, but not increase the benefit for these people. So that's a really interesting thing. It changes that whole Social Security dynamic. Safe to say, it's not really a Social Security tax. It's just a surtax of 12.4% on wages over $400,000. The next one's the really big one. He wants to increase capital gains taxes to 39.6% on incomes of $1 million or more. Now, I know that's a lot of income. Most people aren't going to touch that, but this is a huge one. If you're a Democrat and you want to make wealthy people pay more tax, this is how you do it. because the uber wealthy, the very, very wealthy, make a significant amount of their income as capital gains. And capital gains rates are low. And so, when people complain that Mitt Romney, for instance, has a tax rate of 15%, this is why he's got it, or has had it in the past, because he made capital gains income. If you want to, hurt Romney or rich people, this is how you do it. You increase significantly the capital gains tax rate, and he wants to do that. President Biden wants to take away the qualified business income deduction for those making over $400,000. That could have a big impact on small businesses. There are a lot of small businesses that make, $500,000 a year or $1 million a year or whatever, and that could significantly impact them. He wants to cap the benefit of itemized deductions for those, again, making over $400,000 a year. He wants to cap the benefit at 28%. So basically what that means is it means those people's tax returns become more complicated. And of course, the benefits of their itemized deductions are significantly less. So for instance, there are a lot of people who give a lot to charity. That significantly reduces that benefit. This affects everybody. He wants to take away the retirement deductions we have, deductions for 401k contributions, IRA contributions, etc., and replace the deduction with a 26% credit. What that does is it flattens out the benefit for everybody. Basically, it means no matter how much money you make, if you contribute $1 to a retirement plan, what you save in taxes is the exact same amount, right? So that's what he wants to do. But that does hurt the wealthy, and quite frankly, wealthier people usually use these retirement plans to a greater extent than people with less means. A few other quick things. I'm not going to name every single thing that President Biden has proposed, but he would like to expand the earned income credit to the elderly. He wants to expand the child care credit. He wants to bring back a first-time homebuyer tax credit. Here's another big one. He wants to eliminate the step-up in basis at death. So currently, if my parents die and they own a home or they own a farm or they own whatever other property, and that property goes to their children receive the property with a basis at fair market value today, which essentially means that whatever appreciation happened between the time my parents bought the asset and the time they died, all that becomes tax-free. The step-up in basis really allows people to transfer property that they've acquired in their life to their children without their children having these massive tax debts that they have to pay. So it helps reduce the need for children to sell assets when their parents die or whomever in order to pay the tax. So it's a great benefit, but he does want to get rid of that. He also wants to cut the estate tax exemption to $3.5 million, down from $11.58 million today. So that's a huge reduction in the estate tax exemption, and also increase the top rate to estates to 45% from 40%. So what does this all mean? Well, everything I've just said really means it's a really huge tax increase for the wealthy. Here's the caveat with that. I know the Democrats own, right? They control both the House and the Senate and the presidency. And in theory, they should be able to do anything they want, but not really. The Senate is very closely divided, and if the Democrats really want to push through major tax legislation or any legislation, they're going to have unanimity amongst their members. That's hard to get, especially for a party in power, because every single senator becomes a veto, which means they have extraordinary power, and it's just hard to get that much consensus. So they're going to have a hard time. The next couple of years, Democrats certainly will pass significant legislation over the next couple of years, and will certainly change tax laws to some degree. But whether or not they can get all of this that I've just said passed, I don't know. I kind of doubt they get all of it. On the other hand, they could, of course, pass things that are even more draconian. So we'll see. I don't believe we're going to see just wholesale tax change in the next 2 years. We'll see how the midterm elections go, and if the Democrats are able to expand the majorities, then certainly we could see some some massive changes. But for now, I think we'll see modest changes for the next couple of years. Either way, it's going to require some planning. So come in and do that. Come plan, and we'll see what we can do to minimize the impact of these changes to you. Thanks for listening.